Hey crew, hey crew, welcome back. Welcome back to another. This time we're talking about music. Like yo. Shout out to the crew. What up? What up? Happy Thursday evening. I know this is different, like what is going on, but we're gonna talk about women, women today in honor of Women's History Month. I wanted to close the month out. I wanted to have a very, very good conversation with some good little clips and just some good conversation with a panel of ladies. So I did reach out to a lot of different content creators and folks that I actually know. I didn't hear back from a lot of folks, and the folks that I did hear back, they did send me emails saying that I know I confirmed, but unfortunately, I won't be able to make it. So we're gonna pull it off. We still gonna rock and roll. I see Pretty PR Chick. Shout out to Pretty PR Chick. Shout out to the whole crew and the members in the chat. Thank y'all for coming through. Um, we're gonna talk about the changing role of women in society. We're gonna have a good discussion about it. And there's three things that I want to capture here. I want to talk about education. I want to talk about birthrights, being a mother. A mother, what does that mean now? And then I want to talk about social conditioning. What are we conditioned to think that women are okay to do and not okay to do? And I want to have a conversation about it. So we're going to take a deep dive into a bunch of those things. Um, Shout out to the crew. Shout out to y'all. I know I was like, I started planning this like maybe a month ago, and then I had reached out to folks then who had confirmed, and then we're here now. And I told somebody just recently, I was like, the joys of being a content creator. So we're here. I'm gonna drop the link. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Feel free to come up, ladies, men, gay men, whomever. Feel free to come up and help me guide me with this conversation because as much as I'm having the conversation, um, it's important to have a female's point of view and a female's perspective. I'm a man, I'm a male, and so I'm only asking questions from my point of view. So it'd be really good if I can get some of you all to come up. So there's the link. I want to pin the link. Let me pin this link really, really quickly, y'all. Give me a second to pin the link. I hope y'all got y'all beverages, and I hope y'all ready to just have some discussion. Just a little meek discussion. It's been a long day for Roman. Y'all ready to just have some discussion? baby. All right, there we go. All right, messages pin. And shout out to y'all. What's going on, RNY TV? Thank you for coming through, boo. My fellow Rochesterian right there. Ox City 805 Queen. Hey, babes. Thank you for coming through. And you do have my link too. T Trisha One, what up? Shout out to you. Thank you too. I appreciate you too. I appreciate you. Okay. There we go. Can y'all hear me? Okay. Laptop died and I had my other thing going, so I'm glad I had that happen. Now my laptop died. Oh, yes. Welcome to the stage. T Trisha One. Hey, boo.
Hey, how
Thank
are you? Can you hear me?
I'm good. I hear you well, loud and clear.
I told you
Thank
I'd be here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Shout out to you. I appreciate it. How was your Thursday?
It was a
How's your Thursday?
long work day. Long
Ain't
work
it?
day.
I feel
Mm-hmm.
like a real long. I do. I feel like it's been a real long day. So I hope today we can have some good conversation. Light and be as honest as you can because I'm gonna be asking some real honest questions myself. And again, the link is posted in the chat for anyone who wants to come up. So I'm gonna just jump right into it. So in honor of Women's History Month, don't call myself to be a historian of women's history, but there are certain things that I think are pivotal to the movement, to the energy of the whole black girl magic, to all of the energy we've been seeing around it. So I think there's some things to be said. Um, just to do a high level overview, back in the 1600s to the 1700s, that was when we started the women's rights movement with a whole host load of women. I know a lot of folks. Elizabeth Cady Stanton comes to mind. Out of that, we got the women's right to vote. That was what, 1918? And from there, it just started going. Women, they went from being household caretakers to cleaning the house to actually helping out when men were going to war. And then after World War II, when women started going to school, we started seeing more changes, even more changes occurring. And some of those changes was, abolishing poll taxes, changes to women in government. So we had more women rolling in government, and we also had the Title IX, which just abolished any form of discrimination in education or any agency that receives federal funding. So the tide has changed. We can see clearly that the role of the woman has changed. And a lot of people can say the role of the man has changed, and I agree. The role of a man has changed to a certain degree, but focusing on the women, there's three things I want to talk about. So the first thing I want to talk about is parenting, childbearing, giving birth, being a mother. And teacher Shawan, can you remind me, you're not a mother, correct?
I am not a mother.
You're not a mother, but you are an aunt.
I'm an aunt. I'm a godmother,
Okay,
sister. Mm-hmm.
qualify. You qualify. We could talk about it. We could talk about it. So one of the biggest things right now that we see is childbearing. Women are not having kids as much. They're not having children as much in the US. And they did a study back in 2020 that showed that women are having far and far less children. And to the stage, we got Ox City 805 Queen. What up, boo? Thank
Hey,
you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So I want to hit it off right with parenting and childbearing. what would you all say is some of the reasons why you think that women, black women, are not having children, are not interested in having children? And my question right here is, do you think this is a choice or a response? What do you think?
Personally, I didn't have a choice as to whether or not
What do you
I could
mean?
have children or not. That was taken from me.
Okay.
I
So if you did
raised
have the
two
choice, you would have.
teenagers, but yeah, I always wanted kids, but unfortunately, due to injury, I could not have children.
I'm gonna go out and come back in. I'm having feedback.
Okay. Okay. And you're saying that if you didn't have the choice, if you didn't have it taken away from you, you would have children.
I would have had one, at least one.
And that's what they're saying. And when women are having kids, they're having far and far less children. And I mean, there's a whole host of reasons, a lot of reasons that I saw. One reason that I saw was women now bear less number of children than they used to before. More families now have one or two children. They even give birth to a child at a more matured age. Women now have children even without marriage. And would you agree with that? That more older women are having children?
Yes, some people are choosing to have a life first and also a career so that if children do come, they'll be able to take care of them. Because nothing is guaranteed. You're not guaranteed to get support.
No, you're not. Light bright. Let's see. That Faith.
Hey,
What up, Faith? Is that
I'm
Oxy?
so sorry I'm late.
What up? Well, thank y'all for being here for me. I
I
appreciate
am
it.
so sorry.
Oh,
You
I
turned
appreciate
that away from me.
Is it my fave?
Yes, hey T Trisha,
Hey,
hey
boo boo.
Bobby.
How you
I'm
doing?
not sure
Hey
who's the other
y'all.
young lady. I'm not sure her name.
Bobby. It's Bobby.
Look, I
No,
have
I know who
glasses
Bobby
on. I
is.
still can't
The
see.
805 Queen.
Hi,
Huh?
Hey,
Bobby.
everybody.
Hi,
Hey,
Oxy.
Hey,
Oxy
Ox City Queen.
Oh, hey Ox City. I never seen her before. Hey Ox
Yes,
City.
that's me.
So, y'all, the first question that we're talking about right now is the fact that women, where before it was stay at home, have children, be the caretaker, be in a household. We went through a dramatic change, and we're now at a point where women are not interested as much as they used to in having children for a whole host of reasons. And my first question was, do you think this is a choice or a response?
I think it's a little bit of both.
I agree.
Why would you
Both.
say it's a choice?
It's a choice because I made a choice because I didn't want to have any more than I could take care of well. I
It
wanted
was
to make sure right. So that was my choice. Um, and I would say it's a little bit of both because um, look how many people are out here struggling with children that they really didn't want, but they had. So now they've learned from others' mistakes and they're not going to do it. They're just not doing it.
And
And what
another
do you think,
factor
Bobby?
is I was brought up it's seven of us. And I saw how my parents struggled to take care of the seven of us. I didn't want that to be me. So that's why I said I only wanted one.
Now, in terms of whether this was a response or not, a lot of what I was seeing was women aren't having children as much because of the response to the dating market.
Yeah, that's something.
So, I mean, if you're not, if do you all agree that it's because of the dating pool?
Not just the dating, the quality of them.
Really? But
I
that was
think that,
how in general.
Can
I mean, I'm sorry,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Bobby. No, Bobby,
Okay.
you go ahead.
To touch on the choice versus what was the other word you used, Roman? I'm
The
sorry.
choice or response.
Okay, so the choice I feel is that women have been held back for so long, women in general, as a stereotype to be in the house, to be this, to be that. But then there was a lot of changes in the 90s and going into the 2000s where there's a lot of single mothers out here too, a lot of mothers that are in relationships as well. But I feel like the choice was made because, as Ox City said, you don't want to have more than you can take care of, so you have to make that decision. and you can't ask nobody else out here for help. So when it comes to you taking care of your children, you got to make sure that you can do it. I think it's a mentality, and that leads into the response part of it, you know.
And then you have some women who choose to have kids, even recognizing those circumstances, and they still have
Right.
children, and they
I
still
just find it to be really selfish.
Well, I have four. I have four sons, and two I birthed and two I married into, but I raised all four. And it's a hard deal to swallow, you know what I'm saying? To have to raise four children. But at the same time, it was a choice, I guess you could say, but I had help. I
see,
wouldn't have had four children without help.
and that was another big reason why women, Black women, were choosing not to have children. The rise of child-free women, according to a survey last year, 44% participants admitted that they aren't likely to have children, and that number is steadily growing. In 2018, only 37 participants admitted to not wanting children. More and more people are saying they don't want children, specifically Black women, and more of them are saying the reason is financial. And I'm gonna take it one step further. They're not only saying that it's financial; they're saying that it'll limit them in obtaining home ownership. Do you all agree?
Now, I don't think it'll limit them in home ownership, but I feel like a lot of people, the times have changed so much. It kind of happened when right around the 80s, 90s, like Bobby said, where women have started making more money. They decided that they wanted to travel, they want to see the world, they want to
Yep.
live before they settle down to be a mother. My mother and father, it's six of us, and my father used to always kid me and say, you know, you the baby, so you have to have seven. I was like, I know you lying. I don't want all these kids in my house. But no,
And it sounds like your family will help you if you did have a lot of children.
none of my brothers and sisters have more than two children.
Okay, so
We always had a house full.
pretty. It seemed like y'all pretty. At least y'all be a tight knit. There's
Well,
a
we are, and then like my mother took us to stuff like to plays. We went out of town. We went to museums. I mean, we traveled. We did everything. So for me, with the prices of things going up, by the time I became a mother, if I wanted to do that with my son, I couldn't have a whole bunch of kids to go.
I asked you a question because my father passed when I was 7, so I didn't kind of like have that. My question to you was, did your mother stay at home while she raised you all, and your
Nope.
father
My mother
worked?
worked for the government, and so did my father.
Well, see, so and that's a strong woman to sit there and take care of 7 kids and still do all of that and provide for y'all too. You know,
Well,
so
my father worked. Mind you, my father had a store. My mother worked during the day. My father worked at night. So we ran numbers during the day. I ran numbers during the day with my father till I went to school, and my mother was at work, and then my father went to work at night. He worked the midnight shift.
and you said that your mother still got help from the government.
No, she worked for the government.
she worked for the government.
Both
Oh
of them
well,
did.
yeah. Well, and I think they're from a different generation. Well,
Yeah.
because I'm saying nowadays you'll find that a lot of times having a lot of children, someone on that end of the table is receiving some sort of government assistance.
Both of my parents worked.
Hey, pretty PR chick. Thank
Hey,
you.
my love bug.
Hey,
Looking awesome.
y'all. Hiya.
So my question, real quick, was: do you think that the decline in women having babies, and including mortality rates, they say that when Black women are more likely to die or pass away from giving birth, do you think that's become a choice or a response? This decline.
I
Can
think
you
it's a
rephrase
choice.
that?
Did you get it? Oh, did you hear
I
me?
think it's
I'm
a
going in
choice,
and out.
Roman.
Oh, okay. I'm going in and out.
I am.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm basically.
Me personally,
Did you get it? Pretty.
I think it's a choice.
You think it's a choice, and I feel like it's a response, and I think the
I only
majority
heard
of you.
part of the question.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So
It's cool.
you know about the declining birth rates, right? Women are
Mhm.
having less babies.
Okay.
Do you think that's a choice or a response? A response to
Mm,
the environment, the dating pool, the ability to go and get an education, or do you think it's a choice?
I think it's
um,
neither.
maybe it's a mix of both, like depending on
Do you have
circumstance.
children?
No.
No. Did you choose?
Mm-mm.
Is that a choice?
Yeah. I didn't want to have
Is
the
it?
kid unless I was married, and I've never been married, so
Ah, okay. And if you don't mind me asking, 80s baby?
80s baby.
80s baby. Okay. See, and that's another difference. I feel like a lot of it's a difference. Like a lot of nowadays, it's like you have a baby. Women are having children and they're having them, and it's almost like it's okay. And what I'm saying is, when we talk about the changing role of women, do we see that as a change as well? Even though we see the decline in birthing rates, though the ones who
Mhm.
are having babies, they're having babies in a lot of times it's in a single family household where
True.
they are
And they're really young.
very
Do you
young,
watch
very,
TikTok?
very
Like
young.
these little
Yes,
TikTok
yes,
moms, these little
very
like
young.
20-year-old, 2-year-old, 17-year-old couples are in a second
That's
kid,
the change I see.
17. It's
And that's the
wild.
thing I see when it's some of it, I understand I see the decline, but I also see this almost it's okay. You have a baby.
Right.
No, it's all right. It's fine. Do you all sort of agree? No, I think
I definitely think so.
I
It's
see
becoming more acceptable culture.
I see.
I agree. I think it's a both. She thinks it's both. What up, Risa?
I think. Well, see, I'm much older than a lot of y'all, but my girlfriends are starting to have like when I had my son. As he grew up, his friends started having babies in their teens. And then when he got about 21, they were actually my girlfriends that had sons that grew up with my son was asking me like, "What's wrong with your son? Why you don't have a baby? Because he
Mm.
can't take care of one. What is wrong with y'all?"
I
I
mean,
don't understand this mentality that y'all feel like they shouldn't have to live some part of their life, get established in some kind of way before they start to make babies. I don't know where this came from.
that's the change. That is the
I feel
change.
the same way.
It used
I
to
feel
be
the same way.
used to be the way you like. Oh my God, do you not know a lot? When you gonna have a kid? Before it became, I am. this, you got to slow down. So I think that's a change, and I do think in younger folks that change has become a norm. Like you're not asking when are you gonna
Yeah,
have a
you're
kid.
a grandma at
You're
30 and a great grandma at 45. I ain't never heard of such.
And
Right.
Mhm.
people are saying that's a choice because I'm saying that's a response to the environment. It's accepted. It's okay. Like I didn't even know there's high schools who have daycare centers in them until I started
It's,
preparing for this show.
But I'm
yeah,
gonna
it's
be
quite a
honest with you,
few.
Roman. Roman,
Yeah,
that's been accepted for years. Because when I'm a '90s baby. I was born in the '70s, but my growing up years was the '90s. And in the '90s, they had plenty of the daycares, the whole program for pregnant teens, and all that. So it's been acceptable for many a years. It's really a choice to not have a child. It really is a choice. Like it could be a response to the environment, but look at our environment. Is that really a response to the environment? Look at the environment today. The environment is way more worse than it was back then, and we still had a lot of people getting pregnant back then
true. So
at a
now,
young age.
now, now, yeah, and I don't think, I don't know, it could have been different, but so nowadays you have a lot of parents who, you know, are dealing with different kind of issues with their children. And so my next question with parenting is, um, how would you respond, changing from, looking at how times have changed. If your child, one of your children came to you and share with you that they are coming out the closet as, that they are no longer whoever they are, what before no one would take it, no one would accept it, you can't say that, and I got a clip I'm gonna share with you all, but before I share that clip I want to know what your responses would be, and I want you to check out this more traditional response to this question. And my question is, have times changed? How would you all respond to something like that?
I believe that times have times have changed, but in my
Now,
family,
for women, and I'm only coming from the lens of women's responses and women's perspective on these different
but
situations. So,
see, the whole thing is across the street from my house was this big family, the Riches, and they had 4 gay sons, and they were the sweetest, nicest people you ever want to meet, and they had Chickadee and all their friends would come around, and we just fell in love with them. So I never had a problem with anyone being gay because I always received so much love from those people. You know how something just sticks with you, that it's not. They always told me who they go to bed with isn't my business. So if my son came out gay, I'm gonna love my son 10 times harder because I know how hard it is or 20 times harder, because as a black male, you already gotta love them harder to make sure that they know that they are worthy and they can do. So a gay black male has it so much harder in America. So yeah, it wouldn't be a problem for me at all.
it's funny because in researching for the show, one of the things that they said that women were trained to do when they had babies in the early the early 1900s was raise your daughters to be like you and raise your boys to be firefighters and army and to work for go to the army. And so when you think about, your son coming home and saying, or your daughter coming home saying something out different from those norms, a traditional response would be totally different than what we see nowadays. And sometimes you still have some of the same thing lingering. And I ask, is that a issue as a woman, or is that an issue as being either of the changing times?
I want
You
to I want to touch on that one. I want to touch on that one, Roman, and kind of go off of what you were asking about. How would you feel if your child came out of the closet? I think that it is a change in times. And I think we as women, and I'm going to specifically say this, good mothers, okay? Because everybody can have a baby. That don't mean you're a good mother. If you're a good mother and you're raising your kids, you cannot love your child less at all. I think that it's something in you that no matter what they become, you just want them to become something. So if no matter who they decide to love, that doesn't matter because you want your kids to become something. It's not about sexual orientation from a mother's point of view. I believe that over time, women have graduated into being moms and fathers sometimes in a relationship, and sometimes having to take the brunt of situations that occur when it comes to fathers. So sometimes you're not just having that conversation with your son or your daughter, you're having that conversation with their father because of the stigmatizations of things.
Which is a good point. So I'm going to show y'all this clip. This is a single mom, and her son is basically coming out to her, and she's responding to him. She's responding the best way she knows how. And she referenced basically how she knows her child should be. So I want y'all to check this out, and I want to talk about that shift in the reason why we would change the way we think. Is it because it's accepted nowadays, or is it because I don't know? Y'all check this out. Y'all let me know.
Sean, you do not listen to me. The only reason you're telling me is because you want to get under my skin.
I'm not.
That's the only reason you're telling me. And
No,
I'm telling you, you're
just
not getting under my skin. I'm telling you, it ain't nothing you can say that's going to change what I'm about to do. Do you have a friend that you can stay with? You got a man you can stay with?
I'm telling you, just to be open with you.
I'm just saying,
it's not a
do you?
dig.
I'm
It's not
asking
me
you.
trying to
It's
get
not
under
a
your
dig.
skin.
I don't care. Do you have someone you can stay with?
Probably.
Then do that. Do that. You 1 minute. Oh no, I only do women. Oh no, I'm only doing women.
Because
So
like it's
you're
like I'm hesitant.
you're completely deranged, or something is truly wrong. Because the stuff you do, babe, it ain't normal. You think it's normal. And you think that I be like saying things to hurt your feelings. I'm not.
Well, what is quote unquote normal to you?
What is normal? Why would you walk around here for months? Oh no, I like women. Oh no, I went over this girl's house and I did this, I did that.
Because
I only strictly do women. I was just, I don't know. I was just going through something when I said.
Because being honest with you is not the easiest thing, especially how you react.
Sean.
Especially
no.
when you.
Hold on. When do I ask you?
Mom, there's been plenty of times where you're like, "Are you gay?" or like,
no.
Or like, "Are you
the
sure?"
way you act.
And it's
I
like,
look at your pictures. It's obvious. Any dude that call himself beautiful is not straight.
That's
Unbelievable. That's what that was. So now I'm gonna go back to my question. And she, for the most part, she's an older woman, a woman of particular age, educated, single mom. I found this on TikTok. And so now having that same kind of attitude towards a son that comes out wouldn't work today. And then you get this kind of friction. So do you think because of this kind of friction that change is coming or that change is happening? Because I heard you, Bobby, say no matter what, you love your child, no matter who they are. But you can see right here that that's not always the case. And I have my own line of women in my own family who are much older. And their way of thinking about this stuff is totally different to you all. You all are very open, very accepting. Do you think, or what is that change? What caused that change?
To see all our babies hurt. Have you seen how many babies? Have you ever seen the lost boys that are out there selling their bodies on the street when they've been kicked out by the Mormon church? It's just so, this really breaks my heart. How old is this video?
This was like a couple of weeks ago. It went viral on Twitter, and I just snatched it and held it for the show.
I cannot believe there's no way a mother just throws their child away. I just don't understand it. And I've seen it before. I've seen these little broken babies, and my heart just goes out to them because there's no way. Who you go to bed with does not change who you are as a core person.
It really doesn't. As a mother, my oldest son came out to me
a little bit because that's gay to me.
I'm sorry, Faith. It did something to me too. I was following this the whole story, trying to see.
Oh my God, you guys! I'm over here shaking. I cried to see the look on that baby's face when she said, "You ain't normal." Dad. I'm sorry, y'all. My voice is kind of shaking because that hurt my feelings. I think that's the one thing I can never do to my kids. Of course, you have what you think in your mind you want your children to be. But if you ever made them feel like you don't love them, that is where I draw the line. Like, that's where I draw the line. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what race you are. You brought them kids into this world. You can't change who they become.
And you should have known.
Your mama couldn't change you. Your daddy couldn't change you. So you know what? I want to be with this. They couldn't tell you nothing. So who are you to tell your son I'm sorry. I'm gonna go on mute for a second.
What do you think?
Well, see, my son came. Can I say something real quick?
Absolutely, go ahead.
So my son came out to me as gay, right? And we grew up in a strict Kojic home, all that. And before my son came out to me as gay, I have a cousin that I grew up with that was gay, and he was always loved. We just, they kind of swept his gay under the rug, but they never shunned him. And so when my son came out to me, this is what I grew up with knowing. So regardless, God loves us all. Regardless, that's something he got to take up with God. I was raised as we're born in sin and shaped in iniquity. So all these people that keep talking about you're not born that way and it's a choice, that's a lie, because it's not. They're born that way and it's not a choice. And I love them through it. That's your choice. That's not my choice. That's your choice. I'm going to love you regardless. It doesn't matter. That does not change who you are as a person. All that changes is who you care for and who you love. And that's it. If you can't, and that's it. I love my children all the same.
And I want to say something else too, just something real quick about something that just popped into my head. Another thing is it has always came that if you were gay, that you do not love God or you're sinning. Now, I'm not going to get into, because I don't go to church, but I believe in God, okay? And I believe that you can find God anywhere, under any home, any under roof. So my thing is that I feel because of the stigma, and I feel because of the shun, and I feel because there's parents out here that grew up a tad bit different, that it also goes to that not being normal, that pushes a lot of gay men into saying, well, then I ain't got to believe in God. I'm not normal. I'm not this. I'm not that then. Because of the way people are talking to them, they are normal. They can love who they want to love. They could be any religion they want to be. God is gonna love them regardless. They got to take that, like, being a sin and not loving God just because your gay situation out. Because that's why a lot of transgender people are getting killed. A lot of people are getting killed because of religion and because of race and because of being not normal, quote unquote. It's not right.
So, do you think in the form of parenting, women have become a lot more stronger and supportive for their young babies, in not just this way, but in a multitude of ways that are changing, that are changing the society? Because I think this was one aspect that a lot of folks probably felt like they didn't have to deal with. But right now, listening to you all, it's like, what? Huh? How dare you? And do you think you built that strength up because of what you've seen and what you've been through in your own, like Ox City 805 Queen? Like you said, you were around it when you grew up. But a lot of these folks, they were around it, but it was shunned. Not my child. I distinctly remember my mother saying, my son ain't gay. And then here we are, and so now we are full circle. Oh yeah, you can be gay. And it's like, that's a complete change and a complete shift.
Well, see, me growing up around it, they never called it gay. They never called any of that. Like I said, they were real staunch church people. All they said was my cousin, that's just him. That's just who he is. That's just who he is. But they never shunned him. They never talked crazy to him. You understand what I'm saying? They just always said that's who he is. And so I kind of took that as a gateway, I guess you could say. If that's just, if you're looking at them as a person in their soul, that's who they are. It makes no difference who they sleep with, right? Because that's just who they are, how their demeanor is, who they are, if they're nurturing, loving. Because my cousin, he was the oldest of his siblings and everything, oldest of us as cousins and stuff. And he was nurturing. He would always make sure we were straight. He would always come and do, and that's just who he was. And so I guess you could say my experiences made it easier for me to deal with as a mother, dealing with my son coming out to me. I guess you could say that. But I just don't see, as a mother, I just don't see how anyone, regardless of how you feel, even if you were the person that opened the church, closed the church, swept the pews and all that, I just don't see as a mother how you could shun your child. You birthed this person, you raised this person, and so you mean to tell me that you never saw the signs? Because I saw the signs. So you never saw the signs? I just waited for my baby to tell me.
Check this out though too, but it's pretty funny to me though that somebody can go out, your son could go out and murder somebody, and you're the first one at the police station. He didn't do nothing.
Exactly, but who he decides to lay down in the bed with will make you disown him. What kind of bullshit is that?
And kick him out at 16 years old to ask him, do he got a place to live? Can a man take care of you? Why would you want your baby to go live with a grown man? Like, the way she said it was like, well, you got a man to take care of you? Like, I don't know.
Listen, that's the part of the video that bothered me, because I felt surprised and he also looked surprised when she said, do you have somewhere you can go? Like, he didn't really understand the first time she said it. And she was like, do you have a man you could go stay with? Like, who does that?
Mm-hmm.
It's happening.
And if it had been her little lesbian daughter,
right,
would she say the same thing to her? You know what I'm saying? Is it because he's a male? It just doesn't make sense to me. You just can't cut love off of something that my son is my heartbeat, my heart walking out here on these streets.
Yes.
It is no way See, I am so sorry, y'all. I am
Look
so
at you
upset
being
about
all
it.
emotional.
Oh,
Aw. Yeah, yeah.
I wanted to, in this whole just the first part of this, just talking about like childbearing, parenting, and having it the way women as moms, the way women as childbearing, how that has changed and the role has changed, and it's clear that this is one dynamic of it, as well as just opting out of not having children because of dreams, goals, careers. And so I want to move now to talking about specifically education, dreams, careers, and goals. And how, for me, my question after we finish talking about it is going to be, what impact do you think this has had on men in today's society? Okay. Now, I want to kick this off with this clip of this girl and what she had to say about why dating isn't important to her, but education and everything else is. And I want to know if you all agree. So check this out.
There's a lot of black women who are not dating anymore. We quit dating. It's not even so much gave up, maybe, but we just realized that there's a lot more peace in being alone than having to deal with this generation.
There's no sound.
Did everybody heard that?
I heard it.
Yeah.
Not all of it.
Roman, play it again because you had to click to hear the sound on our end.
Okay.
So can you play it again?
Okay. One more.
There's a lot of black women who are not dating anymore. We quit dating. It's not even so much gave up, maybe, but we just realized that there's a lot more peace in being alone than having to deal with this generation.
Oh,
Now, do you agree that
totally. See, this is me. This is my alley right here. This is my lane. Listen, okay, I'm not gonna say I quit dating, but I definitely like go long periods of time like without dating, so I just be focused. And I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm built different. Like I'm not gonna like settle. I don't go for any nonsense. I'm such like I don't know. I'm so at peace like around myself, and my life is so lit. But yeah, I'm not budging. So,
and do you think that impact, like, so have you encountered like men and do you
not really like in real life? I feel like on the internet there's the whole like little Kevin Samuels minions, and they have a real issue with like high level women, I guess. So yeah, so on the internet I encounter people, but not in real life. I mean,
and why do you think that is? You think it's intimidation?
Yeah, I think so. Like even the dudes that either go viral or that are in like these, chat rooms or Instagram or whatever, they're very bold. They're emboldened. I don't think that they are like that in real life. So that's probably why you don't encounter them in everyday life, but they feel affected by women that they don't know. Like they're pissed that women are high earners. They have their career focus. I don't want to hear about your job. Oh yeah, like all the crazy stuff that goes viral. And I'm just like,
so if you found a guy though, would you date?
Oh yeah, I date. I date when I feel like dating. I'm just saying, like, I think I go through long periods of time of just being focused on other stuff, and I feel like, dating is distracting me. I'm trying to get to my bag. So, yeah, I do date.
Do you want to be married? Do you want to get married?
If it's for me, I'm not anti-marriage, but I feel like it's like 50-50. Most of the people that I see, I feel like 50% of the people I see that are married, I think it's a stunt in a show. Like they don't seem happy. It just, or I don't know if it's just for, some kind of benefit or what, but yeah, it's legit. And that's how I feel. And I think like, oh my God, this is the person that God is, sent for me. Then yeah, I get married.
Of course, I definitely see you get married. I definitely see somebody sweeping you off your feet. So now,
my mom and my stepdad got married at 60. They've been married for 8 years. So
yeah, what about you all? Do you all what is your response to her video? Do you all feel like women now are choosing education, dreams, and goals over long-term relationships, dating, marriage?
They better, because they got some trash to pick from.
Right.
You better
Right.
speak on that. Well, see, I'm on the other side. I'm married, been married for almost 25 years. So we just, I mean, I wouldn't, if we were to end up not together today, though, I don't see myself trying to start all over. That's too much work. Mm-mm.
So let me ask
Wait,
you, when you first started out, was it
Ronan,
get married, get married, get
Miss
married?
Toby's in the back.
actually, no, it wasn't get married, get married, get married. It was, we dated, but we just kind of, we clicked at the same time, too. And we just kind of knew everything was everything when it came to us. So we got married within the first year of us dating,
Hey, Miss
but
Toby,
it wasn't get married, get married, get married. It just kind of happened.
because I feel like there's a, there's this for women, find get married. For a long time, it was, find you somebody that can take care of you. And now we're hearing and we're seeing, and I'm asking you all, are you choosing this over that? And it sounds like that is one of the changes that we're seeing when it comes to women. And I do see that it impacts men. I do see a huge impact on a lot of men. And a lot of times we talk about how, they start dating outside the race. Would you attribute women's desire to not want to be committed so early up front as a reason for some men dating outside of their race? And Bobby, feel
No,
free to.
No,
no,
absolutely not. No.
no,
Okay.
no way.
The latter. That is a stretch. No.
That's a whole
No.
stretch. They been dating outside their race, show. That ain't nothing new. That actually it's the other way around. If you want to be honest, them dating outside of their race has caused a lot of black women to say forget it and focus on education and everything else because of how we're treated as far as they don't want us to be strong black women. They don't want to date their mamas, so they say. So that's one of the main reasons why a lot of black women or women in general have gone to get better education and get better jobs and make more money because
Well,
the men ain't trying to do it.
well, well, African American women are the most educated people anyway.
Mhm.
You realize that, right? If you look at statistics,
Very
it
much
shows
so.
that
Mhm.
we are the most educated black women, and a lot of times, I'm going to speak, as a black woman. A lot of times, I'm not going to say a lot of brothers, but some brothers are intimidated by educated, strong black woman. I remember one time I was dating a guy, and let me just say, I only dated him for maybe like a month or two because I was like, this Negro was crazy. I remember one time that he told me he wished that I was a type of woman that was on welfare, that stayed home and had a whole bunch of kids and needed him because he was intimidated that I was an educated black woman and a professional black woman. He was really jealous. I said, oh my
Yeah.
God, he's really jealous of me. And
Look
he
at
said
that.
that. I had to leave
Look at
him
that one.
alone.
Remember that one video, Miss Toby, that Roman had where that girl they did like a dating thing for the first time or gave her his number. She gave him his number, and then he called and she didn't return his call because she was at work, and he basically cussed her out from
Yes,
every which way but
Bobby.
sideways. Like that's it right there. I ain't gonna lie, I called mine young. He was 18, so 17, 18. We were all the way in high school. We grew up with each other. So, I got my education with him. He got his education with me. We built together. So I can't touch on the dating steez.
With the sense is a dangerous thing. Okay, Voodoo, shout out to Voodoo Eclectic. So education has not increased our perceived value, unfortunately.
And let me just also say this real quickly. Also, some men don't even know how to date. And I really, you know what I'm saying? I really blame social media. I really blame, they don't know how to date. Some of them think the idea of dating is Netflix and chill. No, you want to take me out. You want to, huh?
I said, wow, Netflix and chill is a date.
Honey, you would be surprised. Oh, they think, coming over to your house or you coming over to my house is the idea of dating. I could look at my own four walls. I'm not coming to your house and you ain't coming to my house either. You want to take me out. You want to take me out on a date. You're gonna knock on the door. You're not gonna blow no horn either, because that's don't blow no horn telling me you outside, honey.
Listen, I'm a queen.
But you know what, though? That kind of adds to the fact that I think it was just on Instagram the other day where that man was saying, well, if we go out or something like that, if we go out and I buy you dinner and I buy you this, that, and the other, that I'm supposed to get some booty. Well, who put that in the plan? Who said I had to get some booty if you spend some money on me? Like, ain't you supposed to court me? Ain't you supposed to try to impress me at least?
So let me play devil's advocate. I mean, say so you are an independent woman, you know, you're all about your career, you're all about it, and you do want to get married. Do you have to then make that shift to becoming the kind of woman who can find the kind of man that wants to marry and settle down, or do you just stay the same and hope that that person attracts to you? Like, where does the compromising come into
What
play?
do you mean by change to become the type of woman that?
Or compromising,
Right.
No, I'm saying, what changes do women need to make, like, to find men who want to settle down? Like,
I don't
you
know.
said it.
I guess what I'm asking is like, you know, there's men who want to have a woman who will be home to take care of the children, and there's women who want to leave.
Gotcha.
So what does that compromise look like? Like,
So
I
look,
think
this is
that's
my personal
neutering.
opinion, right? So my personal opinion is that, okay, there are a couple of ways that I would act in a relationship. One may be like, yeah, both are myself, but let's say I'm myself on like 8, right? And so, you know, I'm gonna give what I'm gonna give. If a man is like, oh, I want to settle down and I want you to like quit your job and, you know, like be a housewife and stuff like that, then he's gonna have to have a considerable amount of income, because that's the only way that I feel like I'm going to completely submit and be this like 100% submissive, you know, I'm going to let you lead 100% type of wife. I know it may be an unpopular opinion, but that's how I feel. I think that he has to be in a position to lead and be able to support 100% in all ways a woman that wants to settle down. That's just me.
Well, I'm a woman that settled down. I'm a woman that settled down, but I mean, I'm submissive to my husband, but I'm not stupid to my husband. I mean, we built this house together. I feel like when you're looking for a relationship, you have to look in the right pools. I mean, but the man is supposed to find you anyway. So I mean, he sees who you are and he likes who you are as you are dating. Why would you change who you are in a marriage? You should never change who you are just to be with somebody. That's already a recipe for disaster. You have to be who you are 100%. And if they have to accept that as well as you have to accept that. It's all a compromise once you come into the constitute of marriage. But dating, I'm not changing who I am just because he want to settle down and he ain't got no money to support me. I'm not gonna be broke with no man. I ain't gonna be on the street with no man neither. Sorry, that ain't gonna happen.
Listen, so I'm gonna ask y'all, Roman, and ask the people on the panel. So my friend Kendra does a single show on Instagram, right? But she does it on like Facebook and YouTube too. So if you've ever seen Kendra G singles live, and so people get on every week, right? And the clips go viral. And so there's always these men on there who are like, yeah, she's like, what are you looking for in a woman? Oh, I want someone that's obedient and submissive and blah, 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 right? So they want these like docile women. And so they're like, okay, well, how much money do you have a preference of like how much money she earns a year and stuff like that? And so lots of them say no, or they say something really low, like, oh, 40, 50,000 or something like that. And like they want women who basically don't have a career, don't have a lot going on. Like, okay, if you make 40,000 a year, like that's not a considerable amount of money. So I think he won't care, like if he says like quit your job or whatever. But most of them don't even earn enough money to put themselves in a position to do that. Like if she asks them like, oh, how much money you make? Oh, I make like 70,000. You're not in a position to have a woman quit her job and be totally submissive or be at your beck and call. This is unrealistic.
But then that, yes, you are right. But then there's also that side factor that taps into not everybody is who they are at the moment. People have to grow. I went from me and my husband went from being in high school to him getting his welding certificate to him making $30,000 a year to making almost a nice amount, y'all. He's in his double figures range. But the thing is that I had to let him do that for me to then be able to take care of my kids and take that place. Now for me to do, I had an education in medical coding and billing, but then I decided to get into real estate. All of that progressed over a 10-year pattern. It's hard to raise kids and raise a family and submit in both ways.
So Bobby, that's not the scenario I'm talking about, like at all. That's real life. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying these men are like in their 40s and 50s that call into the single show. Like they're not in high school. They're 17, 18, getting married.
Then.
Right. That's the point I'm making. So no, this is not like high school sweethearts and all that stuff.
Me and my husband grew together as well. Like we grew up together. So I understand that you have to grow together, you know what I'm saying? And like he dealt with me going to school and then he did his thing. But at the end of the day, like I said, I'm a wife, yes, and I'm submissive to my husband to a point. But like I said, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna be stupid for you now. I'm not gonna sit here and go in the hole for you either. And I'm not gonna let our family fall just because you want to be stubborn about whatever you want to be stubborn about. There comes a time where you do have to sit down and regardless if the man is the head, the wife is still the one that handles everything. Regardless, it doesn't matter. The man can be the head. He can make all the money. He can do all that. But at the end of the day, the wife keeps it together.
Where he needs to go.
Exactly. The wife takes care of it all anyway. Now, what we do is we go ahead and let them inflate their ego. Yes, baby, you the man, you sure are. But if I didn't pay that bill, if I didn't pay the bills, you would be a man homeless. You understand what I'm saying? Because they don't do that. The woman has to take care of it. You'd be a hungry man if it wasn't for me, because we wouldn't be going to the grocery store. You'd be you understand what I'm saying? You have there comes a time when you just have to, it's a give and take, but you can't but a man can't tell you, I want you to be at home. I want you to be at home and take care of the kids, this, that, and the third, and he's only making $10 an hour. How does that work?
Right. You're Jesse, was it Risa's comment? Was it Risa? Yeah. So these are the men I'm talking about. They want women who will be dependent on them in every aspect. Those are the men I'm referring to.
They want women.
So good evening, ladies. This is TC. I have a question for King Roman because of the question that you asked the panel, and that was, in reference to dating and then, getting ready to maybe possibly look at marriage. And what does a woman have to, do to, what does she have to do? What kind of compromises does she have to make? And what I heard was, and I think somebody else asked the question, why is it that the woman always has to make the compromises? Because I'm thinking that what kind of compromises are the gentlemen gonna make?
Well, that's what I was talking about. Where does the compromisation begin? If he wants this and you want that, where do you all meet sort of in the middle? And I was trying to figure out, like, is this a new change? Are you all?
No. Okay, so I get you. So see, I'm a stickler for the linguistics of things. So when you look at me, or when you say, when because we always speak in French, we speak we and all that all the time, right? but when we say we always looking at a woman. You know what I'm saying? So when we speak, I'm thinking that it's important to say, as the couple evolves in their relationship, what are some of the things that they're going to have to do in order to, come together as one and take their relationship to the next level.
Very good way to put it. That's exactly.
You see how that works. You see, but when you said it, how you said it, because I redballed it back. I love you, King Roman, so I'm messing with you. I think that this society has a tendency to always look at the woman as though she has to change something, and it's not coming. It should come from both. It should come from both ends to the middle.
And do you think that is one of the changes that we see today when it comes to women, the fact that they're
Absolutely.
going for society saying, I have to do this. I'm not going to do that anymore. And then going even one step further, my question is then who compromises? Or
Most
no?
of the time it's the woman.
Everyone compromises.
Most of the time it is the woman compromising. Like Oxity Queen said, we do it all. You know,
But
if
see,
your
that
partner is lacking,
I'm sorry.
go ahead, T. Go ahead.
So Bobby, I'm with you, and I think that he said the women now. So I know in yesteryear, like I'm 53, so I get it. Like that's what was told to me, but I was like, both bull crap. That ain't, you know. And I went. Not only did I do my own thing, but I also went to the other side of the pond too, because that's not my thing either. But this is the thing, Bobby. I think that the narrative now for a lot of the younger sisters, as you know, education, as the world opens up to us, and as we open up to the world, the sisters, young sisters, is like, listen, you know, there's a whole world out here. When I was in my 20s and I graduated from college at 20, I was like, bump that. I was in Egypt. I was all over in Africa. I was in Ecuador. I was all in the islands. I was, you know, people, because it was only me, you know, I had older couples like, you want to come with us? We're going, you know, we're going on our vacation. You want to go to the Solomon Islands? And I'm like, Solomon Islands and blah, 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 all of these places. So when I'm 20s and 30s, I was like, I'm doing my thing, traveling. And these sisters, if they don't have children and things of that nature, if they don't have those types of responsibilities, they're seeing it as, look, I can still, you know, with medical technology, you know, we can get to 40 and start having children. I have a young sister now. She received her PhD about 2 years ago. And a year ago, she had her first child and she's pregnant again. And, you know, her husband is an investment banker. And they're at 40 and 42 now. No, 41 and 43. I mean, doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? And they had a house, you know, a house here in Philadelphia. Now they have that house. Now they have another house in Jersey. You see what I'm saying? See how that works? So it's like both of them are moving together. Both of them. Yes. With no resentment, because what we don't want is for somebody to be the one to have to always give it up and not even manifesting the things that they want at least a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
That was a word. That was a word.
That was a word. That was a word. Because you have to be a unit.
Okay.
You have to be a unit. You have to be a unit. That is a must.
You must choose each other every day.
Every day.
You may
Every
choose
day.
each other every day.
Yes.
That's right.
Now, staying along the lines of education changes over dating, and that being something, you know, and like Eclectic said in the chat, it's not new, but it is something that is certainly on the minds of a lot of women nowadays. You know, I'm getting into my career before I decide to do that. And it's so interesting because in my job with my colleagues, a lot of them are around my age. They're married with babies. And it's just so interesting, you know, to see that. So I want you to check this out. Now, I want you to watch this clip for a reason, because you all listed a lot of reasons why women choose not to date or find that there's no dating pool. But this clip proves to tell us another reason. So check this out. And thank y'all, crew, for being here. I appreciate everybody, the panelists and everything. We're just having a good conversation. Is that pretty chocolate girl somebody I hit up I ain't heard back from? Y'all check this out.
Men of all races are more likely to marry when they are economically stable and receiving good benefits. Less access to capital means less resources for a sustainable marriage. Roughly 20% of births to Black single mothers have been attributed to a lack of economic opportunities for Black men, as well as the odds of fatal violence they faced in and outside of their communities. When it came to the male dating pool available to Black women looking to marry outside of the violence killing Black men and the mass incarceration system putting them away in jail, the interracial dating rates of black men were also left out of the conversation. 122,000 black men were married to white women in 1980, a number that would grow to 150,000 by 1990, and has since doubled to over 355,000 in the last decade. Lastly, when the 1980s marriage rate of black women was discussed, very rarely were contemporary observers noting the amount of black women who were lesbians, asexual, aromantic, or survivors of sexual and or physical abuse who abhorred the idea of marriage.
So I show you all that to say that it's a lot of new reasons why a lot of women are just choosing not to date. You have women who are more liberated now. They are queer. They are part of the queer community, and they're proud about it. We missed the whole point that a lot of black men in that dating pool have started interracially dating. And as I was doing this research, I found the numbers to be extremely alarming. I didn't know it was a larger number than I had imagined. It was like 300 and something thousand interracial couples. I didn't know it was that high. So do you all agree that those are also reasons as to why women are choosing to, you don't see a lot of coupling because there are a lot of liberation going on? Anybody?
Oh, I was on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I think it's a combination of things. It's a combination of interracial dating. It's also a combination of some of our brothers are incarcerated. It's a combination of, let's face it, some of our brothers are gay. So we have that issue too. And it's also, I always say this about my black sisters, and I talk to my sisters about this all the time. It's nothing wrong with dating outside of your race. Think outside the box. Because a lot of us sisters, they act like they really don't want to date outside of their race. I personally don't have issues with it. I mean, just look outside of the box sometimes. You know, we can't always wait around for our black Prince Charming. You know how we are. We always say, "Oh, I gotta wait for a black man. I gotta wait for a black man." I mean, of course, I would love to marry a black man, but at the same time, I'm not gonna, neglect that it might be a good man out here that happens to not be black. He might be white. He might be Korean. He might be Puerto Rican. So just look outside of the box sometimes.
What are you all thoughts about that?
I want to say something to the sister. I think she is she's made an excellent point. She said something that was profound. That black Prince Charming. Now, let me just get down to the messy part. Because you gotta have a black man. He got a penis. Everybody want all that. You know what I mean? Okay. Now, let me say this, because as the world opens up to us, we found out that all black men don't have that long John that everybody always talks about. And we found out that there's some, other people in other races that have some things that's going on. It's what's happening. You see what I'm saying? And when you travel, you see, here you go. You gotta travel. You gotta get out your mean. You see what I'm saying? And you gotta get into the boom bang pop it out pop. Because if you just hang around in the neighborhood in the Kojic, or if you just hang around in the neighborhood with the blood or the Crip or the whatever, the thing, you only gonna see a very minuscule part of what the world really has to offer. You see, so here's the thing with black women, we get put on this guilt trip and it's a guilt trip too. Oh, you're not the race, you're not doing right by the race and blah blah blah. Where we have these statistics that say otherwise. You see, and
I heard your point. I'm glad we're going to move in the conversation in this direction, because I have some stats that talks about interracial dating. But before I go there, because I got a clip, you're gonna be very surprised, because the stats that produced tells us that based on divorce rates, what it looks like for black women in terms of interracial dating, and you're gonna be surprised. But I want to know, what do you all like, Faith Yaya? What do you think? You think?
Okay. Well, let me just say this, because I have a girlfriend who's getting her PhD in couples interracial counseling. All right. And she was dealing with this whole thing about Caucasian women with black men, and and others, and then Caucasian black women with Caucasian men, black men, or the interracial thing. And one of the things that was very profound is that when white women, when she interviewed, because we did it together, when white men look to date black women, they're looking at, because of she's educated, she's smart, she's intelligent, she has something to offer because she's building, I can build with her, blah blah blah. When we interviewed some of the other women to why they wanted to interracially date or get married to black men, it was because they couldn't have them, and they were curious about the thing.
Really?
Girl, why are you so fascinated about the thing?
I did not know that.
And that's what I'm saying, because listen,
because I'm not fascinated about a black man's thing. Let me tell you something. It's not, if I'm in a relationship, if a man gonna treat me good, he's gonna respect me.
Come on, Toby, don't do this. Don't do this to me. Don't do that. Okay. Just cause your chakra, your purple chakra, and you in a whole nother realm on some other stuff is amazing. That doesn't mean that everybody's there. This overly sexualized society that we live in is always seeming to go back to, he ain't got no. You want to get to a black man's ego, so he ain't got no thing, and he ain't got it.
Well, we have a sister on here that's we have a sister on here that's a sister from another mother that's married to a black man. I'm quite sure she ain't married that black man because of his thing. She married that black man because he was a kind-hearted human being. Am I correct, Miss Bobby?
Yes, like I said.
Okay.
I mean, yes. I mean,
okay, but that's one. That's one.
But what I'm saying is yes, I did, because I've been with him since I was 17, and I
okay.
Me and my husband, we didn't actually have our first child till we was 9 years with each other, because I refused to have a child till I felt like we were going to see that we were going to be together. We were together almost 9 years. I had my first son at 25, 26 years old. That man takes care of his kids. I had to see he was going to take care of his kids. He was going to do what he said he was going to do. And then that's when I laid down and have children. I didn't care about that. I cared about what he was going to do to help me in the future and what we were going to be together.
And just know that, Bobby, when I say that, because of course, it's always personalized. This is nothing personal. We're having conversation. And
I'm not taking it personal. No,
I know you're not. No. I get you. I know you're not, but I'm saying that to Miss Toby, actually. And so when I say this because this was the information and the research that a girlfriend of mine received, because she's doing her PhD in couples interracial counseling, and this was some of the research and some of the information that was received from different women and different women of other ethnicities about black men. It was still that curiosity, and it's still that way.
So this is the perfect time to drop this video. I need y'all to listen to these stats. I think Risa dropped it in the chat about what the video I'm about to play. I saw a TikTok video of a white female professor who was breaking down marriage stats. It was shown black women had the most successful marriages and elevated their partner. Now, so I want y'all to check this out, and I'd be very interested to know if you agree with what these stats are saying or not.
So a white guy is almost 45% less likely to get a divorce if he marries a black woman than if he marries a white woman. It's actually shocking that it's that high. Marriages including a black husband and a white wife were more prone to divorce than those composed of black husbands and black wives. So black men are the best off with black women, and they're the worst off of any racial pairing. So Hispanic and black, white and black, white and Hispanic, Asian and Hispanic, out of all the pairings, a black man and a white woman are the least successful statistically. White women are most likely to have a marriage end in divorce than any other race of women. And that's where I get into how it is beneficial for white women to know this. And it's nothing that we should be like offended by or anything like that. Again, these are statistics. People have lives that go against statistics every day. Now, here's another similarity between white men and black women. Black women make the least amount when they're with a black man. A white man makes the least amount of money when he's with a white woman. So that is kind of unique. Okay, but this is what I really wanted to get into, because this is shocking. Of all the pairings, right? So the white man with the black woman is the most successful of all interracial pairings, right? That is with the fact that a white husband and a black wife are more likely than any other racial pairing to be going into that marriage as a second marriage with children, both of which substantially make divorce far more likely. So imagine if white men and black women didn't have to wait until they were like 50 and divorced with kids to realize that they're actually a good match. You know, imagine if people...
No.
That's what the same statistics that my girlfriend had, exactly the same thing.
Bobby, I'd love to know your thoughts on this.
Okay, so I think that I remember I did say something one day. I think we had a Wake and Breathe, and I did say something into, I'm sorry, who said that again? I didn't want to say your name incorrectly about the curiosity. Who said that?
TC.
Oh, that's what I was saying. My girlfriend. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so TC said something about the curiosity, and I said something one time in our Wake and Breathe that I think a lot of white women are curious of black men, so therefore they get into a relationship, but then they may, and I'm going to say this, and I hope this is not going to offend anybody, but I think that the culture is something that some white women are not ready for, and that you have to understand the culture. If you're going to be with a black man, you have to understand that there's going to be times that you're not going to understand what he's going through.
Right.
Those times, those situations. And I feel a black woman as well, like a white man with a black woman. You have to understand that there's culture and history there that you need to try to understand. You're not going to know it. You're not going to feel it because you've never been through it, but you have to be okay in understanding that. And if you're not going to be that listening ear for that other individual, that's where I think divorce would come through.
That's it. See, that's why Bobby's still with her man, because she got it.
Amen.
She done mastered it.
Girl.
You can tell Bobby all that. Bobby is all of that, girl. She got it, broke it down, PhD style. Come on over here to University of Pennsylvania, Bobby. You good, girl. That's my boo right there. Booey, that's my boo. Yes.
I might have to if it's Okola Roman. You know, I'm a one Roman woman.
Roman got all the women. Okay, Roman.
White women and white men. What do you think about those statistics that they're far more likely to end up in a divorce?
It's all over the news. Privilege. White men think that they're privileged. I mean, we're just gonna keep it 100. That's it. And so when they think that they're privileged, they're automatically gonna think that their women are beneath them. And why do you think that they get a divorce? I mean, it's a give and take, and if it ain't there, a lot of times it's gonna be power. And it's going to end.
But I thought the lady said that black women and white men had the most successful rate.
Black men, black men and women had the most successful rates. Okay.
Well, she
said,
right. I thought you said
white men with black women were the most successful, but for the most part, they're their second marriages for most of them, and black men with white women are the least successful.
And that
Right.
black
Right.
women
White-
were higher earners when they were with white men.
Right.
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
that was the
and
part that I found interesting.
yeah, and it wasn't it the white women and white men together. They're most likely to get a divorce.
No, that's not what she said. She said that more than likely that was their second for a white man and a black woman. That was probably their second
Their
time
second
around.
marriage. Yeah,
That
the
was their
second
second
marriage.
marriage. They have
Oh,
had a
okay.
divorce prior and children, and they were still able to come together and blend their families and make it work. But at a certain age, 40s and 50s, and then she was just saying, "Wow, could you imagine if they came together younger? Wow."
And also, King Roman, I wonder if these black women met these white men in a work environment too. As
Would you
far
date
as
a
money is as far as money is concerned.
Huh?
The
Would you
way
date
that they made it,
Oh,
it
yeah.
sound like in
Gotta
the
be
second.
You gotta
In
be
the
super
second,
lit though. Like
the way that they made it
Deep
sound
right
is
there.
like that they were equally yoked. Isn't that how she made the statistic? The
Yeah.
statistic sound is they were equally yoked in the second marriage round.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that shocking to you all, or it's like if you pretty much
Not at
You can
all.
watch
Not at
YouTube
all.
and like see mad
Makes
successful
sense.
older interracial couples, and it's like older white guys with
No,
like
yeah,
women.
yeah.
There's a lot on YouTube.
I wasn't. Can y'all hear me? Because I feel like I can't nobody hear me.
We hear you, but you're echoing, Miss Toby.
Oh, girl, this damn phone. Okay, no, I'm not surprised. King Roman News. I'm not surprised at all.
No,
The
we're
reason I
not
was
surprised.
asking you all if you were not surprised, because I still feel like there's a stigma associated with black women dating white men. There's still some stigma around it.
Listen, it's not a stigma for me. Now, personally, I never really dated a white guy, right? I went on a few dates one time with this guy who was my neighbor, and we had a bunch of mutual black friends. But yeah, he drank too much, so it wasn't. After like 3 dates, it wasn't for me. But he's still very cool right now. And he ended up marrying another black girl that I know, and they have twins, and it's a really cute thing. But I definitely listen. You asked me what I date a white dude. I would date a white dude, but here is like the caveat. I feel like he has to be super lit. I feel like there's gonna be so much stigma and so much like I don't know drama that comes along with it that I just feel like if I would date like a black dude that's like a 9, I want a white dude that's like a 10. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me say this.
Wait a minute, HB. So what drama are you talking about? Why do you think it would be drama?
Oh,
Drama
I
from
should use
who?
for lack of a better term, not drama, but stigma and and that with it. So not necessarily like all out drama.
Yeah. So stigma from who? Your friends or your family?
Well, I don't think it would come from like my friends and my family because I don't know. They know how I give it up. So I think they know I'm gonna do what I want to do. So they don't really voice their personal.
Yes, please hit the link. Hit the link.
But
so other people do you care about what other people think?
Listen, okay, that's where I'm at with it. There is a huge stigma on it, even though you all are saying that it's you would. In society, like there's a lot of women think about that. Yeah, there's absolutely a stigma.
But it's only after when you're a certain age, like after 40, you don't give a dig. You don't care. Okay, that's why I think that the lady is talking about at a certain age. The black women and the Caucasian males have they can get it together because all of those stigmas and all of that bull crap that you would think about. Oh my goodness, I wonder what somebody's saying. We don't give a damn about that. At a certain age, we don't care about who.
I'm in the 40 club, so no, I don't worry too much. I can't, I march to the beat of my own drum, but.
And let me just say this for the I was able to get. I was around some of these pilots just maybe about 3 months ago, and they were Caucasian pilots, right? And I was like, wait a minute, that's what they making white boys looking like this nowadays. I was like, they got their hair looking good. They was wearing, I was like, and then I was looking at their feet. I was like, yo, they look at his feet. What in the world? Hold up. I know I'm messy. I know everything. I'm talking about. I know.
Girl, what
I'm
is
just
your
saying.
fascination with people's penis?
I'm saying that this is messy. I'm being messier on purpose. But what I'm saying is, it's not that. It's not that for me. However, it is that way. People are still fascinated by the peen, and we can see that in these streets. We know that because as soon as it's a 9, everybody wants to see pictures. Okay, but here's
Not true. I done seen
that.
10s and better, baby. I'm sorry. Penis does not.
Whatever. But
That
all
means
I'm
that y'all
saying
have
is
been
that
missing out in life because I had friendly pussy back in my 20s and 30s. I know what a pain looked like. It don't fascinate me no more.
I think she's saying
but
in
that's
general.
that's
Not to
that's
mention,
not you
not
know, and I
all of the
know
10 inches of
y'all,
butter are black.
you
Let's
know
just be
too.
real.
Wait a minute, y'all. It's someone new on the panel. Go ahead and speak, sister. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry. Hello, everybody. I'll make it very brief. Hey, everybody on the panel. I just wanted to kind of put a little hope out there for the future because I kind of came in late. But it's a great topic to talk about. I've been talking about this at length for the last 3 months with my 3 nieces. They're all very accomplished young ladies, but they're all having problems within the dating world right now because of what we're talking about right now. And what I bring to their mind is look at the recent NBA draft. We know that there's another one coming up, but the most recent NBA draft created an uproar. Why? Because the first 5 picks of the NBA draft were all biracial kids. And guess what? Majority of them came from black women and other men. Not black men and white women or other ambiguous women. It was black women and other men. The number 1 pick was a black woman and a Spanish man's child. And it was the biggest ones who perpetuate the same things we're talking about. Steven Jackson, Matt Barnes, Gilbert Arenas. These are other NBA players that were all complaining about the NBA draft. Don't y'all see something different this year? Well, wait a minute. How is it every year in the NFL draft, we see the same thing over and over, these same talented young black boys that we root for in the stands, right there with a nice little preference. Mama might be happy in the background. Mama might not be happy, but she know her place. But La Mama already got her plan in place. These little girls already have the preference playbook already down pat. I'm trying to give a little hope for our kids for the future. We need to start teaching our young girls at the end of the day, guard your wombs and live your life. Your man's going to show up and he's going to do what he need to do to get your attention. You need to focus on what you need to focus on because ain't nobody coming to save you. That's what I tell all my nieces. That's what I tell all young people, male or female. Nobody's coming to save you. Save yourself. Save those around you. Each one teach one. Because we can't leave too many on behind. There's going to be too many of us. And the same stereotypes are going to perpetuate. But to my fellow 40 and plus sisters, listen, it's still hope for us out there too. I understand, all the stuff that's going on in the manosphere and all that stuff. But right now, strike while the iron is hot. If you're single and you're ready to mingle, go out there. Go to wine tastings. Go to those sipping paints. There are a lot of men that are out there looking for a sister, a good sister. They ain't looking for one that's got to have all the high marks and everything. They just want a woman they can come home to and feel like they're coming to a home. That's all they're looking for. I see it in my line of work all the time. I deal in tax debt resolution. A lot of these people, it's simple mistakes, stuff that I can help them fix. But more often than not, I get hit on by who? White dudes. And when I let them know I got a black husband, they look at me like I've grown 3 heads. I'm like, wait a minute, they're still out there. I just happen to find my magical unicorn down there in the deep countries of Georgia. I don't know what to tell the other sisters, but hey, I just happened to look up and get mine. But I wasn't looking for that. I just want to leave some hope out there for the younger ones. Like, listen, I know it's rough out there for y'all. I'm an 82 baby, last of a dying breed. It's really hard out there for our young kids. If y'all don't have any young kids around y'all, start talking to some of them. Talk to some of these young girls. They dealing with it the rough, especially the brown and darker skinned young girls. They're the most accomplished out here. I ain't taking nothing away from my light skinned sisters, but they are the most accomplished out here. They are out here breaking records. They are out here blazing trails, and yet we just get a couple of footnotes here and there. You hear more about the femicide that's going on than you do about the accomplishments that we see. That's happening all the time. And yet, as soon as you see one that happens to rise up high enough, and she happens to wind up getting attached to a man that's not her same skin tone. That's what's on the headlines. Nothing else. So I just want to leave a little ray of hope out there, man. Listen, it don't matter what age you are. If you want to let them know a steak on the plate, you better let them hear it sizzle. Like my grandma say, let them hear it sizzle. They coming. Stop limiting your options, ladies. Stop limiting your options.
On the plate, baby. Let them hear it sizzle. Okay.
That's right. Excellent.
Thank you for the opportunity for coming up. I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time.
Let me ask you this question real quick. So you said good sister. What is when you say good sister? Because we just saw stats that said higher earning women are more likely to marry a white man.
Well, see, I'm here in the South, and I'm going to be honest with you. It's a lot of blue-collar white men that are looking for good, honest working sisters. The ones that's working there in the call centers that they see, they keep their head down and they work. You know where they finding them at? They're finding them at the sipping paints. They're finding them at the wine and tastings at the local liquor store. They're finding them at the listening parties. They have all kind of different things that they put out now. And with the internet being wide open now, women are starting to explore their options. That's where these daddies are finding these sisters. Now, that's the stuff that's not being talked about on the news. Yeah, we might hear about Eve living her best life. We might hear about, Tamar getting engaged to, saying a rather nice looking dude. I'm going to be honest with you. Travis Kelce. I'm sorry, fine as hell. I'm a married woman. And I could say, yeah, he's fine. But at the end of the day, it's more and more of them that are checking for us actively, not because we are a fetish. Yeah, but they're not checking for us because we are a fetish. They are checking for us because we have proven ourselves to be solid. We are solid. Give us a box of lemons. Bet you we're going to make the best lemonade, lemon pies, lemon bars, lemon soap, lemon scrub, whatever you need, we're going to make it.
Lemon cobbler,
we're going to make it.
That's right.
And guess what? Give it 10 years, the people who was giving us the lemons going to come and buy what we make.
There you go.
They already see the plan. They understand the long game. That's the problem. Brothers understand one thing about us sisters. We have been conditioned since we were toddlers that we are our brother's keeper. We have to keep their secrets. We have to keep their traumas. We have to keep the highs and the lows because that's the only way we could be considered a strong Black woman. And it's not until after waiting to exhale we realize how much of a backhanded compliment that was. Ain't that sad?
That is so perfect.
Ain't that sad? But yet we looking down on our younger sisters out here living their best lives, being liberated. Anytime I see a sister curving a dude out here, y'all out here, how old Pope? Listen, they've had how many years of being able to just have whatever pick of the litter they wanted? When's it our turn? It's our turn. Embrace it. Embrace it, sisters, because this window may be shortly opened. Embrace it. Because they coming for us. They checking for us. It don't matter how high or low earning you are. Present yourself in the best light and the right one gonna find you. You just gotta be ready for them. Put all the past traumas at the back end of the door. Be ready for your blessing. It's gonna be hard to do. But be ready for your blessing. I literally had to listen to somebody tell me that over and over and over for me to be ready for my husband. And I ain't get married until last year. So again, it's just my way of trying to pass the torch to the ones younger than me. Because there's not too many of them my age that's reaching down there because they're discouraged. What do you hear most of the time? These young ones always discouraged, not discouraged, they're always pretty much bad-mouthing those that paved the way for them. And for what? Give it 5 years, you're going to be a footnote. People will have to look past Wikipedia to find you. But the ones that you talk trash about, they're in Valhalla. I just don't understand. I don't know. Maybe it's because I kind of still have to deal with the ones that's younger. I kind of understand more. But I feel more for the younger girls that look like me, that are out here achieving more than what we were even able to. We were the ones in our age that was told, oh, yeah, you're good enough, but they're not going to take you. Because they can get the young blonde hair, blue-eyed girl down the street that's a C average student at best. They're going to take her over your A++ all day. That's what I was told. But my nieces, they're not told that. We fight on the front lines for them. Sisters I'm seeing on the panel are fighting on the front lines in their own various ways. But again, it all means nothing if we're not reaching these young girls and encouraging them to keep moving, keep pressing. For all them no's, you're going to get a yes. Keep rooting for it. Don't let those who figured that their time is already past take that shine from you. That's what I have to constantly encourage my nieces to do. I wasn't blessed with a daughter. I got a son.
How old
And my son's 17, but he's also autistic. So it's a different kind of set of skills I have to work with him. But I never give my baby a set of wooden nickels, ever. He gets the same lessons that I teach all my nieces and nephews. Because again, we are all we got. We can't sit here and let the TVs train our kids. We can't even trust the books nowadays. Let's be real.
Hey, Cruiser, Miss Cruiser.
Hello. Good evening, everybody. Just a couple of thoughts that I had. I was driving before, so this is perfect timing because I finally come to a stop. I'm gonna get to TC in a minute, my Aggie sister. Why is the focus always on getting a man? You know what I teach my daughters? My daughters are 25, or actually 26 and 22. I teach them, live your life, travel, go to do those hobbies that you enjoy, take classes. Don't be so focused on when I'm gonna get a man. And as you're doing those things, as you're doing the things that you enjoy doing, and as you're traveling, and as you're learning the world and seeing the world, then somebody will come along. But don't be sitting around wondering how I get a man, what man I get. And I am so glad that we Black women are no longer limiting ourselves to one race or limiting ourselves to anything. I'm glad that we have grown in society where we don't feel that need to do that anymore. Now, if it's somebody's choice that they don't want to, I understand that. I respect that. I get it. But for those of us who don't mind dating outside of our race, I'm glad that we have taken the limits off of it. Now, Ping, I just can't imagine. TC, what you said shocked the heck out of me because I can understand curiosity. Curiosity for all women comes, but I can't imagine getting married, because this is somebody you're going to have children with. This is somebody you're going to pay bills with. This is somebody you're going to build with. This is somebody you're going to lay beside, supposed to be until death do you part. And your prerequisite is a big Ping.
Bad.
So this was interracial dating.
Same thing for them. I just can't imagine that their mind is that almost, I want to say, ignorant. That
there
would
are
be
people that are out there though, Miss Cruiser. You know that they're there.
Well, I do know that, but I'm talking about us level-headed. People make mistakes all the time. We can see that because you got parents, single parents that's raising kids, and they don't have the fathers in the home. Blah blah blah. But I'm talking about those of us who are thinkers and look to our future and look to raise children.
Level-headed.
Say again.
I said these folks consider themselves to be level-headed. That was it, and understand that it's not that it's the only thing. That was one thing that came up on constantly. That was definitely one thing. It was the curiosity.
You would think that they didn't get those things out in college. I mean, that's what you do in college. You have all those curiosity. You take care of all those curiosity.
We still have a very remote society of people. Even going to church, people are still very remote and not as segregated, integrated as we should be. Even in 2023, you can go to churches today and it's just one or the other ethnicity,
race,
or whatever.
Very tribalized as a people. Very tribalized, and it's conditioned that way. We do it to ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, you're seeing a lot, especially in churches now. You're seeing more and more churches that are not just the more traditional churches are still segregated black people, white people, but you with all these churches, the word churches, the faith churches, with with, all of these celebrity preachers, you're seeing a lot of a mixture of people in churches under black pastors and under white pastors. And
That's
I'm
true.
down here
I agree.
I'm down south. Okay. I'm down south, country south. And if I'm seeing it here, then I'm sure that's, pretty much everywhere, except for some of the more smaller southern areas, but for the most part. So and people are getting out more. And then you have the internet, so we're not limited to, I can imagine somebody saying, well, I'll never run into a black person, or somebody saying I ain't never run into a white person with I just can't imagine that. And I'm 53 years old saying, I'm 52, almost 53 saying that. So I don't know.
And so,
That's
Ms.
kind of,
Souza, in these streets, have you not heard people say, "Oh, I don't have any gay people in my family"? This is 2023. You kidding me?
no.
I mean,
I don't hear
I've
that
come
anymore.
across people to this day. They bold and beautiful, come out their mouths. Oh, there's no gay people in my family, and I'm looking right at one or two or three or four, five.
Yeah. I'm
It's
sure there's
like,
still some people that's in denial, but or still not ready to admit. But yeah, no, I personally, no, I haven't heard anybody say that in a very, 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 very long time. In a very long time.
So
And they certainly couldn't say it in my family, whether they deny it or not. They couldn't say it in my family. But
So I got 18 more minutes with y'all. So I want to get to social conditioning, the last little topic here, okay? And social conditioning basically being the process by which people of a certain society are trained to think, believe, feel, want, and react in a way that is approved by the society or the groups within. So my question is going to be, have things changed or no? So, we are now going through the whole Black Girl Magic, the Me Too movement, all of these different, activist moments for women. And my question to you all is, do you think that the times have changed? Now, before y'all answer that question, I want y'all to watch this clip, and I want you all to let me know if you think times have changed. And make sure y'all hit that like button too. I actually forgot to make mention of that. Make sure y'all hit that like button for me though. Shout out to Rico. And thank you, Faith. Faith said she had to go and cook her dinner. Y'all check this out.
The Mammy.
You tell me who you want done, and I'll do the hell out of it.
The Jezebel.
Shut it up! You have such a big baby.
And the Sapphire. Submissive, sexy, sassy. 3 stereotypes of black women that return to our screens over and over again.
The Mammy is probably the most familiar to people. It's usually a maid, heavy, taking care of the family.
You is kind, you is smart, you is important.
She is asexual. She doesn't have really a life of her own. She's really only there to support the family.
And probably one of the most famous examples is Mammy from Gone with the Wind.
Just hold on and suck in.
Somebody who is always seeking out to put aside her own desires, her own needs for white families, white men, white women, white children.
Meet Sugar Hill, sexiest, deadliest chick in town.
The second stereotype is the Jezebel, and that's someone who's generally oversexed.
Is mysterious.
Her only power is in her body and in the influence she has over men.
Unattainable.
And then finally, the Sapphire character, I think that's seen in TV more often than anything else.
Get some Kleenex, wipe your nose, cause it ain't that damn sad.
The Sapphire is usually sharp-tongued, manipulative woman who emasculates her husband.
There was actually a character called Sapphire Stevens on the Amazon Andy show.
And I guess you think you could cook, clean, and get along just fine all by yourself.
I does.
The representation of the angry black women. And that's kind of metamorphosized to today, where we just have sassy, angry black women who doesn't take anything from anybody.
So, some of stereotypes, basically. Do you all agree? Do you all agree that things have changed? You don't really see the sapphire, the sassy, the mammy stereotypes nowadays, or are those some things that you still see perpetuated about the Black women and women in general?
The more things change, the more they stay the same. I see it all of it, and it's amplified in 4K.
Really?
It's amplified in 4K. If you look at the average show that's mostly watched by our audiences, what do you find at least one of the characters being most relatable is the one that's quick to come with the reads, quick to come with the neck rolling, got something that's relatable to us in some form of fashion. The last character I saw that was more relatable to me and what I thought a Black woman was at the time because of who I was around, and it was as ironic, is Regine in a way from Living Single. Because I had women that were in my family that were very forward thinking. They dressed that same way. They didn't have the same hairstyle, but they had the same attitude. It wasn't talking in slang. We had to enunciate in our household. Speaking in slang was a fun thing for us because it reminded us of where we come from, but we had to, be who we want to be, not who we are. How to say, dress for the part you want, not for the part you got. And what we see right now is just an amplification of the exact same thing. Everybody just a couple of years ago was going down on Monique about talking about seeing women outside with bonnets on. But what do we see nowadays? Plenty of TikTok videos with men and women rocking bonnets, happy as they please, and they should be able to do so. However, what was it back in the 70s or 60s was the personification of being a mammy, wearing a bonnet, an apron, being the help, being categorized as the help, whether or not you had an apron on. And whether or not you are a woman who's forward thinking. I think of the show, the Girlfriends. Joan's character, very professional, but she still had barriers that were put in front of her. Some of them were self-inflicted, but I think that all of them are reflective of what we deal with in our own community. We have taken a whole lot of what white patriarchal societies has pretty much oppressed and impressed upon us, and we've had to make our own way with it here in America. But it's no different than around the world. They've done the same thing because they all were colonized in the same fashion. The difference for us is that we have the capabilities in this century to really elevate ourselves to rise above that, and we're still not doing it. Why? Because we're still clinging so much to nostalgia of the past. We're not learning from those traumatic lessons from it, and we're re-traumatizing our children with providing those same images, saying, "Oh, see, it wasn't that bad for us back then." Well, we don't know. We're looking at it from the same old lens we did back then, just a little rusted. If you could ask that inner kid from back then whether or not it was that bad, you might get a different answer. And with that, I'll go ahead and say goodnight. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you, Chantel. I appreciate it. Do you all think things have changed or gotten worse since, these stereotypes? I feel like they've gotten worse. I feel like they even become more perpetuated. What do you all think? Oh, Bobby, TC, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I think I think Shani said the more things stay, more they change, the more they stay the same. So I totally agree with her on that. I'm looking forward to there being different writers that will be able to maybe possibly come to the fray as opposed to those writers that have those stereotypes.
Yeah.
They want to see those things because that's what makes other people wet, if you will. I want to see there be more. I love this. I always loved Claire Huxtable. I mean, I thought she was the quintessential. She was fine. She was highly intelligent. She wasn't taking no stuff. And I mean, she neck rolled every now and then when she had to get with her daughter's what's his name? What was Ding Dong Dilly's name? Ding Dong, you know him. She had to get with him a couple of times. You know, that's your place, you know, Mrs. Huxtable. That's, you're supposed to do this and that for Mr. Huxtable. And she had to kind of put him in his place, and she did so ever so wonderfully. And then he was like, okay, you want me to do anything for you? See, and that's I just loved it. So I think it's the writers, and I think it's what we're gonna what we subject ourselves to and what we continue to allow. So I don't watch those things that make and depict us as those typical, what do you call it, atypical type of roles. I don't like those types of, those types of shows. I don't even watch it. I don't watch much of TV anymore, but there has to be something very, very profound in order for me to watch it, honestly.
Here's the thing though. I feel like even though we say that these type of things are, it's more so perpetuated. I feel like women still, I don't know. I feel like to be an Instagram model, something that to be, women are doing everything they can to be Instagram models. And I feel like at the end of the day, I don't know if that's because they're wanting attention or if that's the thing to do now. But these stereotypes, I don't think like they've changed. I feel like they've gotten worse. I feel like they've been exploited. I feel like the Real Housewives of Atlanta, that's Mammy all fucking day. That's not Mammy, that's the sassy all day.
Yeah.
In order for those shows to pop, you have to have a little sass. So, and I see a lot of, that in the gay culture, that sassiness. So I don't feel like in this one aspect of has the role changed? I feel like it's sort of become exploited. It's a way to make money, fast money, quick money. What do you think, Bobby? I mean, I don't want to sound, sexist, but I really do. I feel like a lot of women think it's okay. It's it's under the disguise, and you all can tell me if I'm wrong or not, but it's under the disguise of it's my body, I can do what I want. But at the same time, it's still perpetuating a lot of stereotypes, regardless.
Some stereotypes I think are given because of condition. And I also think that, the way, like I'm a fan. I'm gonna say I used to watch, reality TV, the Kardashians, Real Housewives of Atlanta. I used to watch all of that. But when I got to seeing the stigmatization of how women are being portrayed and pushed in general in some of these shows, I really honestly feel it was like you said, for money, for a rise, for what they want to stereotype people as. And I don't think that it's really the real life women out here. I think that is all a show. I think that it is fake. Not every woman is out here trying to fight or trying to hate on women. There's a lot of women out here that love one another and support one another, and with that being said, the stereotypes of the generation with the BBLs and the things that women are getting nowadays and this, that, and the other, look at how it's going out. Like it came in fast and it's about to go out, because I think that us 90s and 80s babies, with earrings, natural hair wraps, doing, lipstick and just mascara and, showing more with your fashion and who you are, is starting to come back because people are so much in a bubble of being what they think society wants you to be. And that's not it. And I knew it wasn't going to last long, so these shows need to realize that. I
said, it's almost like it's the thing to do to, to
Right.
mimic whatever's the best consumable, like I watch how Skims, the body type wear has now just taken over. Everybody's wearing it. But it comes to a point where it's like, yeah, I see self-expression, doing what you want, but how far do you go with that kind of image throughout all of your social media or throughout your own life. You know what I mean? And it could be I'm expressing myself. This is comfortable. I want to wear this, but okay. Do you know what does the effect of that is that accounted for? You know what I mean? Like that's like me going outside, you know, in some I can, you know, I ain't got a woman's body, but I'm with my dick out. Thinking I'm
look at that Amber, look at that Amber Rose's slut walk.
Well,
You know,
that's the slut walk.
yeah.
Like,
Look
to
at
me,
that. It's just horrible, dude. Like
it's
to
very
even
much
say
so horrible. It's very much so horrible. I think it's counterintuitive of what she wants. She's saying promote women being liberated to use their bodies, you know, in the way that they choose. But the title, there's a way you can do that without having the connotation of it being a slut walk.
Correct.
You know, and then when you start thinking about social conditioning, what women have been conditioned to become and who they are and what they are, and then you have this slut walk. Yeah, it's okay to be a slut. We could have titled this something totally different. Again, I don't see how that's helping the cause. And again, to me, it looked like things have gotten worse. The more liberated people, I think, and just people in general, men too, the more liberated people become, the more the bounds just get blurred and blurred and blurred.
Like Ox City Queen just said, she said this ish they do nowadays would never went down in the 90s. And she's telling the truth.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of, there's a lot of mothers and a lot of sisters and cousins and things like that would have been like, no, girl, don't do that. You looking too fast or you looking too nasty. Nowadays it's like it's okay to have a side chick or a side dude and cheat and be able to. That shit is played out, man. If you really want somebody to love you, like why are you, being okay with that? Move on. Don't put it all out here for everybody to see. That woman just shot her husband because of that dumb shit. I mean, I think a lot of stereotypes and conditions come into the way that we live, the way that we breathe, the way that we handle things. And honestly, I mean, I hope a lot of this stuff goes away because I have 2 boys that I hope to one day have families and, and have a good partner and be able to, love. I told my son, I don't care who you date, what you want to do. I just want somebody that's going to have your back. That's the most important thing for me. I don't want nobody having you out here looking a fool and looking silly and stupid and things like that. I mean, I just want somebody that's down for you. That's all I care about.
That's right. Profound.
I agree with
King
that.
Roman, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna drop down. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This has been awesome, Bobby. You all that girl.
Thank you. You too, TC. And thanks for having me too, King Roman. I appreciate you.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you both.
Thank you to the chat.
Oh, baby. This has been a very interesting conversation, very good dialogue. I want to thank everybody who came up. Teacher Shawan, Fates Yaya, Miss Toby, Pretty Chick PR, Pretty Chick PR TV. Sorry about that. Bobby, Chantel, TCHBCU Queen. Thank y'all for coming up and having this conversation with me. I think we touched on a lot of different things. We talked about childbearing and parenting and some of the differences, as it related to why women are choosing not to have a child. And we, talked about, careers and some of the obstacles in dating. We talked about education and how that affects dating and its impact on men. We touched on, I wanted to talk about the angry Black woman. She has an attitude, has been used as a dog whistle in silencing Black women's right to feel frustrated. It can instantly create racist stereotypes of the angry Black woman. And I wanted to talk about that in conjunction with social conditioning, but we ran out of time. We also talked about social conditioning and some of the stereotypes that are perpetuated. And I showed you a clip of some of the former stereotypes that were perpetuated. And I wanted to ask, are they changed? Are they the same thing? and to an extent, we feel like they've gotten worse. And so it looks like the more liberated people become, the more those bounds become blurred, and you do have a liberated people. But for all intents and purposes, in summarizing this, women have become way more advanced in their careers. Women have made strides in their own households. Women have taken on different roles in the household. You have a lot of women taking on roles, high roles in careers. I put this here together. You'd be amazed. The black woman in this picture, she's the CEO of an NBA team, the Dallas Mavericks. You have the Asian woman here. She's the CEO of AT&T. You have the Latino woman here. She is the first principal at a school in Arizona. And then you have this white woman here. She's a community organizer in Philadelphia. And so I put that together to show you that the roles are changing, women are changing, and I wanted to talk about that, and I want to touch on these different topics. So thank you all. Thank you so much. Shout out to the crew. Thank y'all for coming through. You know, I love these little conversations. I like to leave this quote for all. You must learn to leave the table when love is no longer being served. Nina Simone. That's a great quote to leave on. Bobby, thank you. Thank you, Neris. I appreciate it. Yes, great live. I appreciate you. Thank you for having. I was nervous, but passionate. I felt your passion, baby. Great live. Thank you. Zap. Thank you. This is an excellent panel and live. Thank you all. I appreciate it. I really wanted to have the conversation sometime this month, and I'm glad we had the opportunity to do so. Shout out to the crew. I appreciate it, yo. I'm glad I was able to do this because I really enjoyed the conversation. I actually watched this on the replay. And to the replay crew, thank you if you made it this far. Please hit the like button, drop a comment below, share the video out. That's the least you could do. And crew, until because y'all know I was gonna say, I see y'all not until next time, crew. I gotta walk my baby. Until next time, crew. Deuces. And thank y'all so much. It meant so much to me that y'all came on a topic like this. It really did. It warmed my heart. I'm really happy. Thank y'all so much. Oh my God. Thank y'all so much, crew. I'm gonna see y'all on the flip side. Deuces.